I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for Wednesday, August 27th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 3, roll call.
Mr. Green?
Present.
Mr. Perry?
Present.
Mr. Lindsay?
I'm present.
Mr. Clift?
Present.
Mr. Watts?
Here.
Mr. Assessor?
Present.
Mr. Jersey's present. Mr. Faya's absent. And Chairman Starovich.
Present.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Safaya.
Support.
Okay, all in favor of approving David Safaya for today's meeting?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next takes us to adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Watts, was it? I want to make sure I heard correctly. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes of July 9th first.
Mr. Chair, them hit the email, I think it was, what, today? And
I know.
I didn't have a chance to look them over.
I looked at July 9th today, so I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from July 9th, 2025.
Support, Mr. Assessor.
So we have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Assessor to approve the minutes of July 9th. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, those are approved. And next, July 23rd minutes.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Make a motion to table the approval of the minutes for July 23rd and August 13th to a future date.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cliff, support by Mr. Lindsay to postpone the July 23rd and August 13th minutes to the next meeting. What was the date of the next meeting?
August 27th, Mr. Chair.
Today's August 27th.
Or I'm sorry, September 10th, sorry.
Okay. So we, all in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? So therefore, we're approved the minutes of July 23rd and August 13th on September 10th. Takes us to item number 6.
Item 6, applicant Karen Miracle, Representative Michael Miracle, common description 11141, 13-mile variances requested permission to retain a 24 foot by 6 foot by 73 foot gravel stone area for parking in the front yard.
Is the petitioner present? And for all petitioners, when you approach the podium, start with your name and address for the record, and then you can go into the reasons for your request. Can you press the button on the speaker? Okay.
Michael Miracle.
Okay, Michael, thank you.
I live at 58203 Omo Road, but the house I was raised in, 11141 13 Mile Road. I just need a variance for the parking area.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public.
one back
Oh,
there.
where?
One back there.
Oh, then, if you can please approach and. So, if you could just stand aside to let her to microphone, and if we could get your name and address
Yeah,
also.
Shelley Eagling, 31055 Shaw Drive, right around the corner from them. We've been in the neighborhood about 30-some years. And actually, when we first moved in, Mr. Miracle, with his landscaping, took care of us. And even if you go by at any time of the year, it's all landscaped. You don't even realize it's gravel there. So I just wanted to let you know it is nice and neat.
Okay, thank you very much for those comments.
Oh,
Are there any other audience members wishing to comment? Okay, not seeing any others. I will close the public portion and turn it over to the board for discussion and questions. Well, if I could, Go ahead, Mr. Retz.
So my question is, I've lived over that way a long time. I go by there all the time. How long has that parking area been there like that?
When I was 1 year old, we moved in, and the area, there was always two parking areas there. So it was 40% gravel in 1969, and there was two rotted fruit trees and an overgrown garden. And it stayed a garden until 1977, and then it was gravel and grass. And then around 1983, it was just all gravel. It just didn't make sense to have the grass there. Especially with my other siblings. I mean, I have 4 other brothers and sisters.
Understand. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, sort of quick
Yes.
question. So you run the business out of the house?
I store one trailer in the backyard because all my customers is Warren residents.
So when I drove by, there was a trailer and employees in the driveway in the morning. So are like they meeting there or what? So it
No.
appears as though.
It's usually not a trailer. If we're taking off, there's a trailer, yeah. If we're leaving the house, I have to leave the house with the trailer, but I don't know what day, on Saturday morning, I showed up with the trailer, cause, I had to cut one of my friend's, house on a Saturday, but, there's normally not a trailer in the front of the house.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Can I make a comment, Mr. Jersey? Yep. So, common question I have is like, because I know that gravel lot's been there for as long as I can remember, but I'm not a wild fan of approving gravel to stay there. I mean, I wish, if anything, I don't even know if that's a solution you would think about, is like, why can't that one-car driveway be turned into like a two-car driveway? Because if you had a two-car driveway, that would double your space in front. It would go into part of that gravel space, but, you know, might not be as much parking, but it would actually, I would think with the length of that driveway, you could fit quite a few cars onto a two-car driveway. I don't know if that was ever something you might have considered, or,
I don't, my mom's 84. It's always been there since 83, so I don't know. She doesn't understand what the fuss is because she was born and raised on a Longview Street, a quarter mile away, and that's a gravel road. This area is kind of large. It wouldn't be sensible to make a 2 driveway. It would actually make more sense to make the entire area cement. And that would take most of her savings. And the area behind the house, they placed 7 houses around our house, and they didn't put a drain. So it actually does flood there in the spring, and I believe the gravel helps with the flooding.
but since I know people have mentioned so are you still, because it sounds like, so is your landscaping still run out of that house?
I stored the one trailer in the backyard. I moved the address. I mean, I started the business when I was 13. So yes, it started at the house because I was, my first one was 13, and then I had a few more when I was 14. But anyways, I've always had the business there. It's shrank a lot. Back in the day, I used to have 3 crews. Now I only have the one trailer, and it's just being stored in the back because all my customers are in Warren.
Yeah. I just always have a concern, because once we give approval for such a large lot, it stays with the property even after it's sold, and then we have no recourse in the future against any future owners parking who knows what out there.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Jersey?
So, the one thing I noticed in the backup material, which kind of was odd, is there was enforcement on this property back in 2018, I believe. It looks like from, 4/30, 2018, at that point, the city had noticed that they were running a business out of the house. All the way down to, 5/1, still uncorrected, 5/14, still uncorrected, and then 6/1, follow-up inspection by Everett Murphy. It was still uncorrected, and then poof, it was gone. Until 2024, pops back up. So how does something get missed by our lead zoning inspector, doesn't get followed through, and just disappears for 8 years, unbeknownst to anybody? And now all of a sudden it's back on the radar. Now, I'm very familiar with that house too. I live in the neighborhood. It's been a gravel lot as long as I can remember. I think at one point, maybe the one owner had a little garden at some point maybe on that stretch, and then they filled it back in with stone. I could be wrong. But that's been that way for as long as I can remember. We have left, we did pass, we did leave a lady that was off of Frazo. She had a circle drive that was, we told her she didn't have to pave, the rest of her driveway too, because it was more aesthetically pleasing to the lot, because it was kind of an original house on the lot, on the street. I feel like this is the same case with this piece of property. I mean, if you look at it, it's completely unique to everything else. I believe it's still, if you look at the rest of the other backup material, it claims that it was in a state or in like one of the first houses inside the neighborhood. So if that was the case, they built it, the neighborhood out around that house. And to me, I think the biggest thing, it's not really, I know we've been battling about, concrete driveways in people's front yards and stuff of that nature, but the gentleman is right. It's a little lake there every time it rains. There is, I don't know what kind of drainage situation you have going on your property, but I've noticed that over the years, like right almost down closer to the sidewalk, it's a pool. So and to pave all that, you're looking at, that's big money. It's not just a couple slabs. It's a pretty extensive piece of land to try and pave. I'm not happy that he's been running a business out of his house. With the city knowing about it, not unchecked, and then it disappears for 8 years off the radar. And now they're kind of back on the radar because now we're starting to do things right in town, and that to me is the biggest kind of head scratcher. But to me, I'm just inclined to try just to let him keep it at this point. I know he's running a business out of his house, but there's been a lot of things that go wrong with this property. I think the city's completely dropped the ball, and now they're making him jump through all these hoops to try to retain this, when this should have probably been nipped in the butt a decade ago. So with that, I'll yield the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Roth.
I got some more questions if I can to Mr. Watchpoint. So, Steve, I'm wondering, you've been around here forever too. It's been like that, like I say, as long as I can remember. How did we end up here today? With
I'm not officially sure. We get most of our enforcements from complaints, other than inspections if we're inspecting a house.
Okay,
most of the stuff comes in as complaint. We're busy. We don't go out looking for stuff. Property maintenance does go out looking for stuff, so it could have come from them as well. But I'm not sure where it came from.
So in reading what I read, I'm gonna assume that this was found because you had a complaint of running a business out of the house.
That's what I believe the complaint was, yes.
Okay. All right, I don't know if this would be a question to you or to the city attorney, but I know that's been like that forever and ever. And I know that a variance will go with the property, which we want to be careful of. But is there a way that we can, for lack of better terms, grandfather this until the house was to change property owners?
When Mr. Miracle came to the counter, I talked to him, and I asked him if he was running the business out of there. I think he was very upfront with me, and he said his trailer is stored there, that he doesn't live there. He lives out in Ray Township. And that's all he does is store it there. I says, is it on hard surface there? Because you can have a recreational vehicle, a trailer, on the property. He says, basically takes a lot of the equipment home, but he does leave the trailer there. So I think the running a business is not there anymore, per se. The question that we came down to in dumbing it down was the gravel parking, which has been an issue, and everything else. Our enforcers, when we go out there for a complaint, we look at everything on the property too.
Understand.
So if we were out there for the complaint of a business, we're gonna take everything into account and go from there.
Right, and the way I'm looking at this, by his comments, he's not technically running his business there. He just keeps the trailer on a hard surface behind the fenced-in area and leaves from there every day, which we know there's a lot of people doing that in the city. And I don't know that I necessarily see a problem with that, because a lot of people have utility trailers for whatever reason, or an RV. So I guess, so my question is still, can we grandfather what's there, as long as it's not a business, to stay with the property until it was to change hands? That's my question.
I will defer to the city attorney, but I don't believe so, because once anything is granted there, it was.
Okay.
And the ordinance was in effect prior to the dates that Mr. Miracle gave.
Okay,
So it wouldn't be a non-conforming situation.
fair enough. All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, yes, Mr. Clift.
Good evening, sir. I got a couple questions. Since April of 2018, when, I guess when somebody noticed the banner in your front yard about running a business from the residents, since 2018, have you ever been served with a cease and desist order from the city of Warren to stop operating a business out of that location?
No. I was told to take down the sign.
Nope,
the
that's
banner.
fine.
Oh,
That's all I just tried to make a point, back to a couple of my colleagues' points. June 1, 2018, everything seems to drop off the radar until just recently again. So, I'm kind of in the line of thinking with a few of my colleagues on the board who don't really necessarily, except for the longevity of the proposed variance staying with the property in perpetuity. And I personally don't even really have a problem with that. This is located not in the front yard. Well, I guess it's still considered the front yard. But it's not right in front, it's not right in front of the house. It's not on your front lawn, so to say, kind of like your side yard, side lawn. And I know it's been there for a long time. And it bothers me that it looks like this came up as a running business out of your residence issue, and now you're not even staying there. You're storing one trailer on a hard surface in the yard behind a fence that you can't even see through. Just on the face of it, I actually don't have an issue with this at all. So I'm gonna be in favor of voting yes for your variance if and when a motion comes about. Thank you for answering my questions. Oh, and on top of that, I didn't see anybody in opposition in the gallery, or no letters from anybody saying that they were in opposition of this remaining, and he pointed out 7 houses right around the perimeter of his mother's property built in, and nobody in the audience, nobody in the gallery to speak against it. So with that, I'll yield the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Green.
so it would appear that somebody's in opposition to it because this is complaint driven. And secondly, there's 5 existing violations. And I guess the one that bothers me the most is that you live somewhere else, but you choose to store your equipment in the city of Warren. I mean, is it because they won't let you store it where you're at?
It would be unsafe. A truck and trailer going 20 to 25 miles just to come back to the same spot. It's a lot of wear and tear, and it's a little
understand.
bit, the way people drive.
I guess I'm just concerned with the fact that we're storing it in Warren because Warren lets you. And that bothers me a little bit. And we have 5 existing violations that we argued before as a board. Violations shouldn't exist before we move on some properties.
Am I allowed to add anything or no?
Absolutely.
Nobody can see the trailer. Back when I was a kid, the inspector said, build a wood fence all the way around. Nobody can see it, everything's fine.
No, I get it, that it's all
That's-
discombobulated. I get that.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr.
Uh,
Mr. Lindsay.
So I appreciate the comments that the board's made. I guess maybe I'm not in favor of this because I look at it and it's like, okay, yeah, so the city was enforcing for years. It looks like maybe they stopped enforcing. We don't have that information. But whether the city is enforcing or not, this is out of ordinance today as it sits. So I look at this as an opportunity to correct that. Just because the city has missed it or has allowed it to continue, it's in front of us today. So I would look at this as an opportunity to correct something that's out of ordinance. My biggest concern is the violations. I think everybody's echoed that comment, but we have multiple violations over the years of operating a business. Obviously, this parking lot in the front yard has been used to do that. So I'm not in favor. This seems like an economic situation that the petitioner is imposing on himself, so I'm not gonna be voting yes for this tonight.
The business
Thank
doesn't
you,
park
Mr.
on.
Lindsay. Well, there wasn't a question from Mr. Lindsay to the petitioner, so.
Okay.
Any other comments or discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Susser.
Maybe through you to the city attorney, because Mr. Watts had brought up maybe grandfathering this in until the property's sold. Is that something we could consider and add in?
No, I concur with Mr. Waterpont. We couldn't put a limit on it like that. It would forever run with the land.
Thank you. I yield the floor.
I just wanted to add one comment. See, I mean, I know it's been there forever, but it'd be nice to actually be able to clean up along that street. You know, if it was on gravel behind the fence where nobody saw it, that would be one thing. Here, it is in the front lawn, in front of the house area. I mean, not in front of the house, but it's in the front lawn. And technically, even though, yes, we say he's only storing the trailer there, well, but the business in a way is still being run out of that house. I mean, just because he's picking it up from there, bringing it there at the end of the day, that would happen to a trailer
You know,
anywhere.
you know,
for lot service. But that's all I wanted to comment.
I kind of, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I also want to point out the city's dropped the ball on this for how many years? And has blatantly known about it. I mean, it's not like he's buried in a cul-de-sac. He's on 13 Mile. How many inspectors over how many years drove by this place and did nothing? So, and now they want to kind of rake them over to coals because it's somebody said something in the neighborhood. Now, yes, he has been running a business out of his house. Nobody's come up to complain about it. I understand Mr. Lindsay's point of view too about trying to self-correct, you know, a property and trying to get it in compliance. But with that compliance, it's just like the same with making people rip out cement. You're talking a big swath of cement. This is a huge investment for an 84-year-old lady, and, you know, to come up with now, I hope he's been running a business for many, many years, and I'm sure he's got some cash reserve, but at this point, I feel like we're kind of bailing the city out for their malfeasance on this piece of property. And to me, I think it'd be more burdensome economically to try and put some kind of good cement there, and to me, it'd just be a huge investment. This is just, to me, I'm in favor of this, just because the city dropped the ball. But you do make great points. I do agree with the points that you made. I agree with the points that pretty much everybody's made. But again, we're put in this position to try and clean up the city's mess, so to speak. But I just feel like it's lived there for so long. He's never really ever had any equipment out in front of the property over the years that it has been a business, which, to my recollection, I think when I started seeing lawnmowers, it was probably somewhere after 9/11, 2001-ish, somewhere in there. I could be wrong, but somewhere in that time frame.
1983.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even longer. So, but anyway, it's just, to me, I'm inclined to let the gentleman keep it. But it is concerning that it has gone unaddressed for so long, and now we're stuck in a position trying to tell him he's got to make a $50,000 investment in his driveway, or he can keep it. So anyway, that's all I have. Or you can put grass too, but so I'll yield the floor though.
Any other discussion or any motions or,
I'll put a motion on the floor.
yes, Mr. Clift?
Make a motion to grant permission to retain a 24-foot, 6-inch by 73-foot gravel stone area for parking in the front yard. I don't believe it's a detriment to the area, and I think it's feasible because of the size and the shape of the lot.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Clift, support by Mr. Perry to approve the request for the reasons stated.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
No.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
No, I believe it's a detriment to the area, it's economical, and it's not necessary.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for reasons stated in the motion. Chairman Ostovich?
I vote no. I think it's a detriment and financial. It's
5-3.
5-3. Your petition was granted.
Thank you.
Takes us to item 7, applicant Lukacs Boadan. Hopefully I got that name right. I apologize if I didn't. Representative Lukacs Boadan, common description 3330 Gerard. Variance is requested permission to retain 13 lineal feet of 6-foot high privacy fence that extends 8 feet 5 inches beyond the front building line.
Is the petitioner present? Do you want to move this to the back of the agenda just in case he shows up, or?
I'll make a motion to move item 7 to the end of the agenda and make it item 10.
Okay. Is there support for that?
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Assessor to move item 7 to make it item 10. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'm opposed, no.
Okay. But it has passed, so it'll be at the back of the agenda. Next is item 8.
Item 8, applicant Udo Incorporated, Representative Schaefer Construction Incorporated, common description 14575 11 Mile. Variance is requested permission to, 1, install a 70.4 inch by 210.8 inch, 103.06 square foot wall sign on south elevation. 2, install a quote-unquote Y-shaped wall sign with half 247.69 square feet of it on the south elevation and the other half 247.69 square feet of it on the east elevation for a total of 495.38 square feet. Total wall signage requested 509.44 square feet.
Is the petitioner present for this item? And for anyone that's going to be speaking, we just need your name and address,
Yep.
please.
Good evening. Jason Lipa, Schaefer Construction, 102 East Grand River, Brighton, Michigan. With me, I have David Brankmeyer, architect from FA Studios. Just wanted to thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your service. There are 2 signs under ordinance that we're requesting to have a variance for. The first one I'll touch on is the large Y that absolutely wraps the corner of the building. The way that we're viewing it is really an architectural element that's stood off from the building, built with architectural materials, metal panel. Udall uses that for their branding across, not only the U.S. but the world. So we feel like it adds, aesthetically pleasing, element to the building, dresses it up a little bit from its current state. The second one is the other sign located a little bit higher up in the building within the center. It's a bit hard to see on a one-way road coming down 11 Mile with all the vegetation that you have as you're traversing westbound, and then also feel like it's appropriately sized for the building itself. So certainly here to help answer any questions. David can answer any technical questions as it relates to the building materials or signage itself, but again, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any. I'll close the public portion and turn it over to the board for discussion. I've got a question, and maybe it's a question for Steve. Can you approach for a second? That's not, I know. So I know this is all being considered wall signage, but why wouldn't that design of the Y type thing, isn't that more of a decorative item as opposed to a sign? Wall
That is definitely branding. That is definitely signage.
Okay, the reason I was saying, because like the 100 square foot sign normally based on the building's location, that makes sense. I have no problem with it. I just worry about you give approval for a giant Y like that, and then the next building owner or occupant has now a 500 square foot sign. That's the concern, and that's why to me that I was like, isn't that just like, I guess I was looking at it the same way as a gas station with everything that's put onto the canopy. We consider that decorative elements, even though you look at the decorative elements, you know whether it's an Exxon, BP, or who it is based on the colors.
It's usually
and the
just
design.
coloring on the canopies and everything else. This Y is definitely branding their namesake and everything else, which would definitely fall under the signage
Okay,
as advertising.
okay, that's my only comment.
I have a quick question for you too. So, so once the, say, said business owner leaves the premises and we grant the variance for the Y, is it because the Y is in the variance request? does it-
Signage would be the
sign-
total square footage.
Still
Yeah.
the square footage still applies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. To the petitioner real quick, what kind of composite is this made of? I mean, is it,
For the Y,
yeah,
it's made out of metal panel, similar to what's already installed on the building itself.
gotcha.
If I could,
Yeah.
and probably ask the city attorney, I believe you may be able to put a condition on the materials used for the signage.
Madam Attorney?
I believe you can place that condition, as well. I mean, I think you could also put certain conditions that it remain coloring with no words, if that makes sense.
But it is a Y, so. It's a letter.
It's a letter, but.
Not a word, Steve, come on.
A letter, just one letter.
So if we made a motion to limit it to, like you said, no wording, would that possibly alleviate that square footage in the future if it changes ownership? Because I don't know if a new owner would want, unless they have a Y business, a Y on their building. So I guess
With the condition with the materials and to limit that it has no wording, I think that would prevent someone from putting a ginormous sign advertising U-Haul or something of that nature.
right. I'll yield the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
question for the petitioner. I'm not familiar with your company. I don't know, do you guys have, or maybe it's not even your company, but does Udo have other locations anywhere else, or is this the only location that they operate out of?
This would be the only location in Michigan. They're actually moving from Livonia to Warren.
Okay.
But they are a worldwide company, yes.
Is this do you know, is this a common branding design to have it on the corner of the building like this?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay.
Yep.
I think I share some of the same concerns as my fellow board members. I really don't have an issue with you guys branding the Y. It's very unique to your company. I think it's tastefully done. It's taking up a lot of square footage for sign, and my concern is if, Udo left that building and it's granted to somebody else, my concerns are definitely gonna be how much signage are we granting to the next company?
I don't believe you're granting it to the address, though. You're granting it to the applicant. So if Udo were to move out the building, then
The
that
variance
grant-
would stick with the property. So we're not granting it to the company, we're granting the variance to the property.
okay.
So if the Y goes down in the future, another tenant's in that building, we've approved a variance for square footage of signage that they're allowed to use, and they can do with that as they please. So that's the concern that you're hearing from the board.
Okay.
I don't know if I have any additional comments. I think it's tastefully done. I have no issue with the other Udo sign. I'm concerned that if we don't find a way to kind of limit this property, we might have an issue in the future. I'll yield the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Green?
so we've talked about this before, so if they move out of the building and it comes back up, can't we rescind stuff that we do? I mean, we always say it runs with the property forever. I understand what that means, but, so, can't we say, okay, first of all, whoever buys the building's not going to leave the Y on it, so, but the square footage goes.
The square footage is still
But
gonna
can't
go with the
we-
land,
but
though.
can't we, as we move through, rescind? We've done it before. How does that, I guess I'm asking, how does that function? I'm asking the city.
The only way this board has rescinded in the past is if the purchaser, let's say Udo sells it, and the new purchaser comes in and seeks the variance for maybe some different signage. In granting that new variance request, you have previously revoked the previous sign variances that have been granted. But, I mean, unless a new owner comes before the board, you would have absolutely no opportunity to revoke anything previous.
Thank you.
And, I mean, additionally, they typically have to agree.
Because once we grant the 509, somebody could come to us with a signed package of 500 that wouldn't even need to come to us, because there's 509 already granted with the property. So if they wanted to do something bigger, then maybe we could take it away at that point. But once you grant the 509, you got 509 on that property for forevermore. That's the dilemma. Am I right with that, Steve? Have I been listening all these years?
I was half listening because I found something else. There is an error in this packet. The total square footage should be 609. because the Y is almost 500 itself, and then you got another 103.
So 609.44?
Yes, I believe that was a typo. I don't believe it has to go back and be reposted, but I would ask the city attorney on that. But yes, if you grant it with, and the conditions would stay with the property too. So if you grant it with conditions, they would run with the property for eternity.
So question, Steve, and if I can interrupt. So conditions on it, could it be that for that Y-shaped portion of that 495 square feet is only of a solid color with no lettering within that square footage? Would that?
No wording, because you
No wording. But there'd be no wording as part of that. So therefore, if some
You see,
future,
as a zoning inspector that reviews this, I would look at the letter Y as a word, especially in today's day and age when you got BRB and Y and different things used. I would look at that as a word when we looked at it. So I would probably suggest if you're moving towards approval, you look at the solid color of it and the materials might be the best way to put a condition on it.
Mr. Chair.
actually, Jeff, Ms. Pierce and then you, Mr. Green, okay?
Oh, apologies. No, I mean, I believe the solid color would, in and of itself, not allow for words, unless I'm missing something.
What if we put solid color Y only? You know, quote unquote.
Well, I believe the institutional and national sign things would say you cannot control content. And that has been upheld in the U.S. Supreme Court.
But saying solid color, that's not content.
That's not content.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Green, you had a comment?
We keep on falling into this trap. So 40 square feet is the,
Mr. Green, microphone, please.
thank you. So total signage shall not exceed 40 square feet. So we do this on gas stations and convenience stores, and now we're doing this on this business. So we are, I don't want to use the word arbitrarily, but now we're deciding that, so it's going to be more than what the ordinance says it can be. So it's going to be 100 square feet more or 500 square feet more. Now we're making these decisions. We're kind of just throwing decisions out. We're saying, so if they came up here and said, we're going to install a sign that's 100 square feet and our Y is going to be 100 square feet, that's only 200 square feet. Would that be, you see what I'm saying? Would that be good? We're going over what the ordinance says we can go over all the time. So we are now saying that 500 is too much, understanding the whole, that this goes with the property, so. I don't know. This is a tough one.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts, yes.
So, here we are again. We're dealing with an ordinance that's just ridiculous. It's so far out of date. And we talked about this for 4 years out while I was on council and nothing ever got done. And here we are 2 years later, we still haven't done anything. I look at, one, where this building is located at, and in my mind, who cares? And then the other thing, you look at it and it's like, it's very tasteful. It looks very nice. I'm gonna take a piece of property, I think it might have been vacant for a while, I'm not sure. And we're getting a tenant moving in from out of town that wants to put a normal sign on the front of the building. And then they just wanna, I'll say paint, but I know it's a metal sign, a Y on the corner. And to me, it's like, I understand what Mr. Watchpoint says, it's branding, I get it. But what would be the difference if I painted the top of my building yellow and the bottom of the building orange? It's the same thing, right? But this is done very tastefully. I looked at their website because I was curious who you guys were. And, it looks like everything that they've shown on the website has the same Y on it. Now, why they did it, I don't know, but I just think it's very tasteful. I think that our ordinance is very out of date. And I'm happy to get an industrial business moving from Livonia, coming here, wanting to pay tax dollars. There's not any residents right there. It's all commercial or industrial. And I just don't see the big problem with it. You know, I mean, I get what he says about the branding, but when I drive down Van Dyke and I look at the pink buildings and the orange buildings and nobody's doing anything about that, and we're gonna worry about a beautiful red Y on the side of on the corner of a building, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So, I mean, I would be a yes vote to approve, so.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
You know, Mr. Watts, thanks for those comments, because the more I think about this, I agree with you. Who cares? It's 600 feet. I mean, even if another building comes in and, you know, they have 2 big signs, it's a big enough building to support that. I mean, if they ever try to go bigger, we'll see it again. So I'm ready to vote on this if everybody else is.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Clift?
You're right, we fall into the trap every time. Because we've got archaic, outdated ordinances that don't address today's signage trends and branding in the marketplace. So instead of making the corrective action as it should be to take the stress off of a body of people who have to arbitrarily make decisions based on input and discuss things for a half hour over something that's easily solved with a mathematical formula based on square footage of a presentation side of a building. How long, Mr. Watts, did you say we were talking about sign ordinance? You were there, what, 4 years?
4 years, 6 years now.
Plus?
6.
So, this is 15 times the amount of signage that's allowed by the ordinance. 15, little over 15. We hear some of these that they're in the hundreds over. But if I guess if we're willing to continue to take them on one by one and talk about them, I guess we'll just continue to take them on one by one and talk about them. I yield the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Rutz?
I'm gonna ask one more question, and if nobody else has anything, I'd make a motion. But since it says why, if they were to move out in 5 years, hope you don't, and somebody moves in there and wants to change it to a W because Watts bought it, it's still gonna be bigger, you'd still have to get another variance, correct?
No. Well, if it was bigger, yes. But if you got it to that same 495, no.
Okay, all right. All right, thanks. Personally, I don't have any problem with it. I would make a motion to grant their variance to install a 70.4 inch, 70-foot 4-inch sign by 210.8 inch, 103.06 square feet, wall sign on south elevation, install a Y-shaped wall sign with half of it on the south elevation and the other half of it on the east elevation for a total of 495.38 square feet. Total sign footage would be 609.44.
Discussion, did you want to add any condition, like a solid
I'd like
color?
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion to include an item 2, that the material be solid red color and made of metal.
I would approve that, of that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Watts, support by Mr. Jersey with the amendment to approve the request as stated.
Mr. Watts?
Do we have reasons?
Yes, as reason stated.
Oh,
above.
reason. Reason? You got a
It's
reason?
not a detriment to the area, and it's an asset to the area.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reason stated in the motion.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reason stated in the motion. Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reason stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
No, it's 15 times the size of signage allowed in the ordinance.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Ostorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion, the request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to Warren.
Takes
This
us
is item 9.
Item 9, applicant Faiz Simon, FF Warren LLC, Representative Christopher Long. Common description 31015 Hoover. Variance is requested permission to, 1, hard surface to within 4 feet of the east property line along Hoover Road in the P zone. 2, construct building to within 5 feet of the west property line. 3, construct a 22-foot by 98-foot gas pump canopy that extends into the P zone to not less than 26 feet, 6 inches of the east property line along Hoover Road, and to not less than 28 feet, 8 3/8 inch of the south property line along 13 Mile. This variance will replace item 1 from variance granted 10/8/1980. And 4, waive 8 required parking spaces.
Is the petitioner present? And if both of you could give a name and address, I'd appreciate it.
Push. My name's Chris Long, architect for the project. My address is 124 Peabody, Birmingham, Michigan, 48009. I'm here with Faiz Simon, who is the applicant and proud owner of Simon Express at 13 Mile and Ryan. We're here tonight. You might want to give your address.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Faiz Simon. Address is, my main office is 27745 Orchard Lake Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan. Thanks for having me.
As you probably already know, we did receive conditional site plan approval last month, with conditions, of course. The approved plan contemplates demolition of the existing 1,600 square foot building, I believe that's there, the 4 pumps and the canopy along with it. We're replacing all components with a new building, new pump, new canopy, and certainly new landscaping. Building is now being proposed to be fronted on Hoover, whereas now it is fronted on 13 Mile Road. We are eliminating 1 curb cut on 13 Mile Road, the far west curb cut. As was mentioned, we have 4 variances to achieve, 2 of which are in the P zone, which is a 30-foot dimension from both Hoover and 13 Mile encroaching into the site. We are maintaining what is an existing landscape strip on 13 Mile. We are asking for a 4-foot landscape buffer on the Hoover side. The additional variance having to do with the P zoning is the canopy, which does encroach about 2.5 feet into that P zone on the Hoover side. The rear setback, since the frontage is determined to be on Hoover, the rear setback would occur on the easterly property line. We're asking for a 5-foot setback. And then as far as parking goes, we have provided 10 spaces on site. The math indicates that we need 18. I would like to point out that the way the building is composed, we have about a 1,200 square foot mezzanine, which is just for storage of, storage and whatever. That doesn't incur additional personnel to man. So I'm just mentioning that because the ordinance does not actually address, ancillary spaces. One thing I would like to mention too, and Faiz can speak to it probably better than I can, is that the existing station on 13 Mile and Ryan is unique in the sense that it is a head-in pumps, and then you can pull right through to park directly in front of the convenience store. And I think you might be able to talk about how well that works.
The best way to do it is convenience for the consumers coming in through the driveway, directly go into the building, park their vehicle, go inside, pick what they want, and get out. Much better convenience than what the station is right now. The way the station was built maybe 30, 40 years ago, it's not convenience for the consumer. Comes in and park their vehicle in front of the building, get the product and get out. So it's much better traffic getting in, getting out. Customers can come in, they don't have to worry about scratching their vehicle or get damaged, hurt. Come to the pump, get gas, and get out. Much easier than the way it's laid out right now. May I, add one more thing. I currently have a station on 13 and Ryan. I built that site, says Simon Express, and it's doing wonderful over there. Customers really enjoy going in there. So I get a lot of compliments how we build that site. So I'm doing a second one in Warren.
I guess I'll leave it at that and ask questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone in the audience. I'll turn it over to the board for questions and discussion. I've got a comment. First of all, Mr. Simon, actually, I love your station at 13 and Ryan. I've stopped by there many times. It's a great business, and I appreciate that. And I think having another one of your businesses in the city would be wonderful. I have one concern about, I wish the orientation of your building would have been where the back of your building faced residents as opposed to the orientation you have now, because all I see is if you have traffic going south, your building's gonna block the view of all the retail businesses next to you over there, because your building will extend so far out. You know, where now it's not that blocked because it's a canopy and you technically can see through a canopy and such. But when it's gonna be a solid building, you won't be able to see any of the retail businesses. It'd be nice to actually keep all the businesses on that street orientated the same way, where the front of it, you know, would be along, where you'd be facing 13 Mile as a building as opposed to facing Hoover. I don't know. That's my one comment about it. It's, I don't know what my other board members think.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Jersey first, and then Mr. Watts.
To the petitioner, Mr. Simon, thank you. This looks like a great plan. The one concern I have is, and you're familiar with the site, you own it, is the travel through. When you're coming to try to, you have people shortcutting, getting the 7-Eleven, going all across the sidewalk all the time. Is there anything in this plan that is going to help ensure the safety of that patch, you know, where the curb ends, sidewalk ends? I mean, people cut through there all the time, and I can't believe a kid hasn't gotten clipped yet, but is there anything in the site plan to address that? Some kind of curb or some kind of bush, something there that's going to deter a car from going through it. So I don't know if that was brought up at planning, sir. Could you speak to that?
We both could. Yeah, yes, it was brought up at planning. There was another suggestion that has not worked out, by the way, which, again, Fayez can speak better to. But regarding preventing cut-through, shall we say, traffic, yeah, I don't see that as an issue. We can certainly take care of that architecturally.
I mean, it's just even like an oversized curb or something to deter traffic going through there. I mean, if you're gonna redo the plan, you know, I don't see any kind of shrubs in there or anything like that. Steve, did I miss something?
There is a curb and grass area there at this point in time, or in the plan right now.
And I don't know if that's still what's existing on the property, because whatever's existing on the
No,
property,
this is new, and that's what's gonna be there.
it's gonna go all the way right to the.
Right to the sidewalk.
Right to the sidewalk. All right. How big's that curb?
18 inches, I believe.
Okay, that's enough to do damage. so-
18-inch concrete curb and gutter.
So, okay, perfect. I'm glad you're shutting down that one driveway. I actually wrecked my car on it in the winter, trying to pull in there. I slid on some ice, but I think this is a good plan, you know, to speak to Chairman Nestorovich's concerns. You know, if you have the building face the other way, all the lights, traffic, and all that kind of shining on the condos back there, even with the wall, I think, just the way he's got it. That's just my opinion, but then where do you put the trash?
The back of the building, there's nothing on the back of the building.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a harder in and out though too, just living in that area, coming out on the 13th, than it is the Hoover too. I think it's a great plan. That station is literally a sardine can, and it's been, I know it's been burglarized a few times over the years too with previous owners. And I think this will help ensure the safety and security too of your property as well, from theft and things of that nature. So, this is a great plan, and thank you for investing in the city. And I was on the board when we had you come with the one on 13 Ryan too, and
Great.
which is a great plan too. So I don't see any problems with this. I'll yield the floor to my board members.
Yes, yeah. So I would concur. I've been in your place at 13 Orion. It's a beautiful building.
Thank you.
So I probably did something that nobody else has done. I listened to the planning commission meeting when this was on the commission.
Mr. Watts, real quick, let me cut you off real quick because I forgot to read the impact statement from the Planning Commission, which found no issues were found to impact the abutting local or general public. So I
Okay,
apologize, sir.
no problem. So I listened to the planning commission meeting, and I have a problem. Every business that's to the east, or to the west of that, complained about turning that building because it's gonna block them. And that's not right. That is not right at all. You know, I know your building's gonna be beautiful and everything like that, but I don't understand why it can't face 13 Mile rather than Hoover. Because I gotta consider in my mind the impact on those businesses. Because I don't wanna have you build your beautiful, big beautiful building, let's call it that, big beautiful building. And then have 3 businesses next door go out of business because nobody sees them. I have a problem with that. I don't wanna create one nice thing and then get 3 bad things out of the thing. So this is where I'm gonna have a problem. And then I have a question as well to Mr. Waterpont. And then I'll go back to that. Are they gonna be back here for signage?
Very possible if it doesn't meet the current variances they have, because what's there would stay with it. So if it meets that, then no, they wouldn't.
Okay, thank you. So I guess the question is, because at this point, I'm kind of opposed to this, just because of the way it's gonna impact the other businesses. Is there a reason why we're turning the building?
The way we laid the building out is the proper. I've been in the business since 1973. My dad started one station in 1973. I pumped gas when it was all full service. And that's all I've done. This is my 35th location to build from ground ups.
Okay,
So I laid properties. I've got a lot of friends, because we have a jobbership called Atlas Oil.
okay,
Customers ask us how to lay a building out. Matter of fact, some architects use my design. It's the way to get in and get out, easy access for our customers. And I know what the customers want. It's convenience. And plus, the issues of traffic, an accident. Maybe someone get hit in the car. It's the way you lay out that building. So the business next door, when we left that meeting, I went outside. I've talked to the shopping center. They got no problem with me putting that building. As a matter of fact, he says, we're happy to see a new building there, may bring more business to us. The one person came in that day, talked about the restaurant. After I talked to him, he says, great, I'm happy because you're gonna bring more business to me with the traffic. Cars come in, they maybe park their car up there, maybe they come in, may get something from me. As a matter of fact, they were happy. None
So-
of them complained.
do we know how far your building is gonna come out past the front of their buildings?
Really, what, 15 feet maybe? Not a whole lot. So it's not gonna affect them. I don't know why I see that could be a problem for you. As a matter of fact, it's gonna enhance the area. That building built over there maybe 50 years ago, the way they laid it out.
I understand that, and this is the 3rd station we're dealing with on that corner. And there's one directly opposite that, in my opinion, they're overbuilding the property.
That's correct.
You
Because
know?
across the street from us, he's just adding the space behind it. I'm taking everything down.
Right.
Building a proper way. Cars come in, park right in front of the building, get product and get out. Very convenient. Backing up, turning around. There's certain feet between each pump. It's laid out the proper way to lay a
So,
building.
let's, and I'll put this to bed, okay?
Of course.
Because I appreciate you giving me all this information. We couldn't accomplish the same easy in and out facing 13 miles we would facing Hoover.
You can't lay the building up on that. It won't work. You'll be disappointed yourself. When I build that building, you'll be disappointed. You won't be happy as a customer. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It's not the right way. That's my business. I know what it takes to get the customers convenience.
I understand that. I understand that, so. All right, thanks for explaining all that.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
I just wanted to add one comment because, see, I remember a number of years ago on the board here, we had the gas station at 11 and DeQuinder come to us that wanted to build a new building, and the way they had it orientated was facing DeQuinder, and due to the concerns of Parkview Animal Hospital next door, it was like, because they were concerned nobody's gonna see them as they head,
Right.
east, that the building owner actually did take a look and changed the orientation of the building, so now it looks the same and faces, 11 Mile as opposed to facing DeQuinder. So, I mean, it would change a layout, but I'm sure you could easily fit the same amount of gas pumps and building size and everything if it was be orientated the same way as the other businesses in 13. So,
May I add one thing to
Sure.
that?
Yes,
There's
Mr.
the
Simon.
underground storage tanks. The way you move the truck fuel delivery, you've got to worry about that. You don't want that truck come in, turning around, a car could hit that. So the way we laid it out, it works out the proper way. We look at the underground tanks, we look at the traffic getting in, getting out. This is the proper way to do it, so.
any other questions or any motions?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner permission to, 1, hard surface to within 4 feet of the east property line along Hoover Road in the P zone. 2, construct building to within 5 feet of the west property line. 3, construct a 22-foot by 98-foot gas pump canopy that extends into the P zone to not less than 26 feet 6 inches of the east property line along Hoover Road, and to not less than 28 feet 8 3/8 inch of the south property line along 13 Mile Road. This variance will replace item number 1 from variance granted 10/8/1980, and 4, waive 8 required parking spaces due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot. It's not a detriment to the area, and it'll be an added good thing to the neighborhood, I believe.
I'll support it.
I heard the motion by Mr. Jersey, and I heard 2 supports.
Mr. Green.
Mr. Green, okay. Or give Mr. Green support.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Sesser?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Ostovich?
I'm gonna vote no. I still think I prefer to see a different orientation. But your request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. You won't regret this. You'll be happy. Thank you.
Okay, so item 10, which is the former item 7. I don't see anybody in the audience, so
Item 10, well, it's now item 10, but yeah, 7 is the new 10. Applicant Lukacs Bodan, Representative Lukacs Bodan, common description 3330 Gerard. Variance is requested permission to retain 13 lineal feet of 6 feet high privacy fence that extends 8 feet 5 inches beyond the front building line. I make a motion to deny this due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot. Petitioner's not present, and it's against our ordinance anyway.
Support. Can we have a discussion on that?
yes.
Okay.
Motion's been supported.
Okay, so motion with, so we had the motion, support by Mr. Green, and Mr. Watts want to have discussion on it.
So I drove by there, and personally, I think it looks terrible. And for them to not show up is another thing. Is there a reason why they might not have shown up? Do you have any idea?
I have not been in contact with them for about a month now. I don't know if they didn't get the mail. I know that since 9/11, I know there's things I get 3 weeks late, so. I would say that from an administration standpoint, I probably would like to give them a second chance to show rather than vote it down on the first reading.
Mr. Chair.
So, hang on.
Sorry, Gary.
So looking at the reasoning that they gave, and then driving by there, I mean, they said tree roots. Well, that's a crazy reason. I mean, if you're gonna put a fence in, you gotta put it in right. If there's tree roots, you're gonna have to grind them out. It just doesn't make any sense to me why they did this. I guess I wouldn't have any problem with postponing and give them a second chance, but I'm in agreement with denial, but I'd rather, I guess, be fair, so.
Mr. Chair, I believe
I
there's
don't
just
know
a
if it
motion
would
on the
cause
floor.
a legal issue too, for them not to be heard, or if they had a legit reason to. So.
Shouldn't be a legal issue.
So Mr. Green and then Mr. Lindsay?
So, we've done this before, and we've talked about this before. It's, just because the petition doesn't show up, we can move on items.
Yeah,
And I
right.
think we gotta get out of the habit of not moving on items. And as Sean just said, there's a motion on the floor, so we should vote on it.
Okay.
Put me in the lineup for comments.
I'm sorry?
Put me in the lineup for comments.
So, Mr. Lindsay, you wanted to add a comment?
Well, I just want to mention that there was a motion supported on the floor, so I think we should be voting on this.
I think for denial or approval, you still have the opportunity to discuss it. If you were tabling, you wouldn't have the opportunity to discuss.
Right, but that would be, if I'm understanding correctly, before a motion is presented and supported.
Is that correct?
You can make a motion with discussion. Typically, the way this board does it is to have the discussion first, but typically the discussion comes after the motion.
Okay. I'm fine. I just want to make sure that we're following protocol.
Yeah, well, I know normally our board we always discuss things and then a motion comes here. Somebody made a motion before we had any discussion, so it's, but Mr. Clift, you had a comment you wanted to add?
Mr. Waterpound, was there permits pulled for this fence?
There was a permit pulled.
Did it fail its final?
Basically, fence permits are just pulled. There is no inspections for them. We did get a complaint. We went out, and it wasn't pulled according to the way the permit was, it was presented on the permit. It was presented going straight across from the house, and I know he said he ran into stuff. I thought it was a gas line. I didn't read everything he did when I talked to him.
Well, that's a little troublesome to me that we're gonna charge a resident for a permit fee to put a fence in, and now I'm counting on the city to go and make sure that they do the job right. They had to come and inspect my garage when I built it, they had to come and inspect my addition when they built it.
And that's
somebody did come and
included-
look at my fence when I built it. So
I-
when did we quit doing that?
They have not looked at fences in a long time unless there's a complaint or an
Okay.
issue with
It
it.
must have been special that day.
Or roofs?
Roofs,
Yeah.
they drive by.
That's a little troubling to me, that a resident, I as a resident depend on that permit process to protect me as a neighbor or whatever. I find that absolutely ludicrous that you're gonna charge a resident for a permit, but not do any follow-up or inspection to make sure that whatever was being erected is erected in a proper and safe manner according to the ordinances. I just wanted to go on the record to state that. I yield the floor.
Not seeing any other discussion, we have a motion and support to deny this request on the floor. Can we take a vote on that?
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Green,
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry,
Yes to deny for the reason stated in the motion.
Mr. Sesser,
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift,
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts,
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Estovich.
I'll be the lone person voting no, because I think it'd be good to actually give this individual a chance to come speak to the board. So the request has been denied. Which takes us to new business, and I do have one item I wanted to just mention. Technically, next meeting, first meeting in September, will be when we should do voting for new officers. So I'm hoping everybody will be able to attend that meeting. And think it, whether there's anybody you want to.
Point of order,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe
Mr.
that,
Cliff.
I believe that we're supposed to do not, well, that means nominations should have taken place this meeting then, because you gotta give people an opportunity to nominate, mull over whether they're gonna accept, and then parlay for their positions. Are we good with nominating next meeting and then voting the meeting after?
Okay, so it will still be within September, so yes. Because then, so.
Fair enough.
If, the first meeting in September would be for nominations. and then
September 10th.
September 10th, and then,
We'll nominate,
and then is there a second meeting in September?
September 24th, we'll elect the new board, or new officers.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to make a motion under new business. It seems like we have had this discussion to try to move our meeting up an extra half hour. So I'd like to put a motion on the floor to move our meetings going forward to a 7 o'clock start time.
Support.
I heard a discussion, and I heard support from multiple voices.
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Okay, discussion?
I was curious if the board was going to entertain maybe putting a stipulation or a limit on the amount of items we hear in an evening. Because, especially during the summer, seems like we've been getting heavily 16, 17 items on an agenda is a little ridiculous. And running on into later on at night just doesn't seem feasible. And I was just wanting to throw that out there to see if anybody wanted to maybe entertain that notion.
I agree with
Love
that.
to.
I would defer to the city attorney as far as that goes. Could we, is that something that we could?
Mary?
Typically, we try to limit, no more than 10, meaning that your items start at number 6, your active voting items. But on the same token, that is also the heavy time frame when people are doing fences and yard work and need these variances or whatever. So we don't, at least in our office, don't do anything to prevent an item from making it to the agenda. But we do try to balance them out as best we can.
Is there a deadline, like when it has to be filed?
Because we have to mail out notifications 2 weeks in advance. So if we got a, just for example, say I got an item today, it wouldn't make your next meeting, it's already a month out. So before they could potentially be heard, if we start limiting the numbers, we might be pushing people 2 and 3 months out. And because of the, construction season and that, you'd be causing a hardship.
Maybe if we updated some of our ordinances and didn't have to hear as much stuff, maybe that would help too.
There you
Yield
go.
the
There you
floor.
go.
So I have a motion on the floor to change the meeting to 7 PM.
And the support, I heard multiple support voices, so.
I support it.
Mr. Watts are supporting.
Effective immediately?
Effective next meeting?
Okay.
Or would it have to wait for another posting? Would this take?
We have to wait for the next posting, and I also want to review your bylaws. I don't know if I'll have to officially vote to amend your bylaws. So not effective until September 25th.
Fair enough.
September 24th? 24th, okay.
Okay. So we have the motion and support to move the start time to 7 PM.
Effective
September 24th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Opposed?
One opposed.
Mr. Lindsay's
Yeah.
opposed, okay. It's 7 to 1. Mr. Lindsay.
You always have a fly in the ointment in this board, I tell you. It's all right, though.
That's a problem for me.
It's a good, it's all right, it's all right.
Oh, it's a problem for you?
I'll have to deal with it.
Well, how about we let him expound on that?
Yeah,
I'm
do you want-
interested to
Yeah,
hear.
expand on it.
I have a full-time job, I have a wife, I have a house to take care of.
Noted.
Would we ever want to consider, since it's not good for the entire existing board, I don't want to reconsider that?
Well, I think what we should do is, our wishes have been heard. I think we should defer and wait to see what the city attorney says at the next meeting, how it relates to bylaws and stuff. You know, whether or not it's something that there's a process we have to do first, so that'll give us time to think about it and hash it out with each other.
I don't-
Does that make
Because
sense?
that makes sense, but it's like, I know, since if moving a start time was not unanimous, that everybody's able to do it, I tend to then not
Got
be
it.
in favor of doing that.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, if it causes an issue, I would, I mean,
And I think it's only fair to take Mr. Lindsay's
Yeah.
situation into consideration.
I'll tell you,
think we
I
all
make a
kinda
mo,
thought-
I make a motion to rescind my motion.
Reconsider.
Reconsider, until we get to some more information regarding the bylaws. So let's readdress this at the September 10th meeting.
Support.
So, then I'm just thinking, so the vote that we took then would not be counted
I'm rescinding.
until we get to September 10th?
Correct.
Okay.
With the vote.
With a vote. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Thank you,
So
guys.
we will discuss this on September 10th.
Yep.
Okay, that takes
Chair.
us to adjournment. Oh,
No.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait,
wait, Mr. Watts?
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Mr. Watchupon, and I think something else too. Last night I came to the council meeting. And on the way to the council meeting, and I know you live over in that area, between 13 and 14 Mile, houses facing on Hayes, facing Hayes, I counted 7 homes with cars parked on the lawn. And I didn't count the ones that have added gravel and concrete. That's been like that for some time. But I guess my question to you is that your department for parking on the lawn?
It could be both of us, but mostly zoning. It's in the zoning ordinance.
Okay,
It's also part of International Property Maintenance Code, so it could be both.
so I'm not going to officially file a complaint yet, but I guess, now what I noticed is last night it was like that. Today I went by there and I found 1 car. And tonight on the way to the meeting, we were right back to the same situation. Like one place had like 6, 7 cars on the lawn. So I guess maybe unofficially, and I know you live in the area, if you're going by that way at night, if you might take a peek.
At night, right?
Yep, yeah.
Yep.
So, because that's very concerning to me, because it seems to be rapidly growing problem in the city. And if we don't nip it, we're gonna have a problem. So, thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Mr. Jersey, supported by Mr. Assessor for adjournment. All in
I
favor?
think Mr. Assessor
Aye.
had a comment.
We already, okay.
Did you have a comment, Mr. Assessor?
Yeah, I just had a question for Mr.
Oh.
Oh,
Watterpon.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
These planning impact statements, can we get them to us much sooner than the day of?
I can tell you that I got them the day of. So they come from the planning department. I have no control over that. I can request it earlier.
Yeah, because it's like, this one was 18 pages and we got it today, and it's like, yeah, I'd like to read through it a little bit, just,
I can request it.
that'd be much appreciated. That was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, we had the motion, do we have a support for the motion for adjournment?
Yes.
Yes, okay, well,
Right?
We're adjourning again, we're doing
yeah, we're adjourning
Oh, we're
again.
adjourning again,
Double
okay.
adjournment.
Double 2, okay.